You get 3 rolls on the tower. Each number corresponds to a random question I have.
Great.
You want to do the honors?
Yeah.
First roll of 3. Number 7. This is just a fun one. This is our franchise question. If you had the opportunity to join the film franchise of your choice, what franchise would you pick and who might you play in it?
Wow. I feel like I'd love to do a British franchise, I think. And I'm trying to think, okay, so when I was growing up, my dad and I watched a lot of shark movies and a lot of zombie movies. So I've ticked shark off, and I'd love to do a zombie movie now.
Yes, please.
And
yes, please.
I feel like Danny Boyle would be the height of that. You know, it's like, I love those movies so much. I remember watching 28 Days Later for the first time. So I would love to do, I don't know if he's going to make any more. What's the T on that?
I wish I could remember what the official word was on the 3rd one in the most recent trilogy. So Bone Temple just came out in January, and I feel like the next one is a go.
Oh, wow.
I think it might be.
Okay. Well,
it should be. It should be, because they're all great.
They're great, and the characters are so brilliant, and I don't know, I love those movies, and I'm such a Danny Boyle fan. I just think he's amazing.
Well, now I have to give you a fun, dicey question that I didn't put on the list today. Sometimes we ask a zombie apocalypse question.
Oh,
so
you have to ask
I'm going to give it to you right now.
Okay.
Let's say there is a zombie outbreak. You can pick 2 past co-stars to team up with. Who do you pick that would give you the best chance of surviving the outbreak?
I'm going to go recent. I just worked with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yes.
And I feel like
I might ask a question or 2 about that. That's a cool project.
He'd be pretty good in a zombie apocalypse. I really think he would know what to do. And he's he's a big guy. And he trains a lot. I think he'd be good at that. And then who else would be great? I think I'd need someone just practical and, so hard. Who else have I worked with? Suddenly all my co-stars just go blank. I need a woman. I
feel like Anniversary gives you a really large ensemble.
Oh, Diane Lane would be good.
Can we make this a movie?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to watch this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Diane Lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
What do you bring to the team? What's your skill?
Just trying to, I think I would bring let's look at all the positives in this situation.
An important piece of the puzzle, though.
Yeah.
You gotta have good spirits or you're not gonna survive.
Exactly.
I appreciate this. All right, you have your 2nd roll on the tower.
Okay.
Number 4. This kind of falls in a similar category. This is our bucket list question. Tell me something that still remains on your acting bucket list.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. A goal. I'm very excited. It's just been announced I'm doing a show for Amazon, and I've been really excited to get back into TV. So I'm incredibly excited to do another show. But I've already done a show, but it's very exciting.
Beach Read?
No, it's a show, an Amazon show I'm doing.
Oh, you have 2 things coming up.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And it shoots in Manchester, which is where I'm from.
That's so lovely.
And it's with Matt Charman, who wrote Bridge of Spies. He's the showrunner.
What is it called?
It is called Dirty.
Oh. Is this not even on your IMDb page yet?
I think it's just been released.
Okay.
But yeah, going back to television feels, maybe it's not a bucket list, but it feels like a full circle.
Okay.
And I think bucket list wise, I'd like to do a play. I've never been on stage.
Oh,
so
well, that's wonderful.
It would be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. My new goal that I've been doing is every single time I hear about a ladies' night guest who winds up on the stage, because I'm from New York and I was always mad at myself for not carving out enough time to see Broadway shows, now I'm making a point to get to as many of them as I possibly can. And I've seen quite a bit lately, and it's wonderful.
What have you seen recently that you loved?
This one's fresh on my mind. I didn't see this recent guest on it. If you watch The Pit, Issa Briones just returned to Broadway for Just in Time, and I saw it a couple months ago, actually with Erica Henningsen, who was also on Collider Ladies Night.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was wonderful. I'm about to go see Melissa Barrera in her show.
Cool.
A lot of good
there you
stuff.
Go. You're making up for...
And then I will be in the audience when you make your stage debut.
That would be so cool.
You have my word. All right. You have one more role in the tower.
Okay.
And then we're into the meat of the interview. Number 5. Oh, this is my meaty acting question. This is one of my favorites. It is called Favorite, Least Favorite. I want to know your single favorite part of the acting process. Putting a costume on for the first time, breaking down your script, you name it, but then not necessarily your least favorite, but just part of the process where you still see room to grow for yourself and you're excited to tackle it.
Great question. I love that question. I think mine's so simple. I do like the prep. I do. But I think my favorite part has always been getting to let all of that go, all the research and all the prep, and just literally being in the moment of a scene. I think there's nothing quite like it when everything just falls away and you're in that moment and you're not thinking about anything else. So that is really my what I'm so excited to get to. And then all the stuff around it. No, the least favorite part of film and TV, like the process.
Anything at all.
Oh God, I mean,
I've had people say literally like everything, like the challenge of trying to crack a character, the wait in between scenes, maybe even having to promote the show after. That's been on the table.
That's where my mind went. That's where my mind went.
I understand.
But there's parts of promoting that are fun, like this. This is so nice.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back for a new edition of Collider Ladies Night. We've got Phoebe Dynevor in the house right now.
Hi.
Hello. Congratulations on Thrash.
Thank you.
Are you fully embracing calling it Thrash right now? Because what was it, Shiver?
It's had
Shiver
so many titles.
Recently?
It was Shiver, but before that it was Beneath the Storm.
Ooh.
And before that it was... I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying all the titles. The Rising.
The Rising?
When I was filming it was called The Rising.
Oh, interesting.
So now I just call it The Shark Movie. Because I forget what it's called.
Can you tell me the movie you saw, the performance you saw, or the personal experience you had that first made you say to yourself, like, I know to my core, I need to be an actor?
Yeah, I mean... A couple of things spring to mind, but the performance that made me it's such a weird one. I'll never forget Meryl Streep in oh my God, and now I'm blanking on the film name because I was so young when I watched it and I haven't seen it since, but oh my gosh, it's like a children's movie.
I can help you.
And it's
a children's movie.
With the 3 kids, a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, huh.
I remember watching that and seeing her performance and being like really excited by it because she was so strange and wonderful. And maybe I'd seen her in something else and I couldn't believe it was the same person. I think that discovery of like seeing performance when you get a bit older, when you go from just enjoying films and thinking they're great and it was a fun experience to then realizing there's a craft behind it and realizing that people can change into a character. It's not just them in the film. And I think that was like a slow realization. And then I think someone said to me, you should watch all of her movies. And then I did. But there's a lot of like elements to that. You know, you go see theater and a performance really hits you. And like I grew up in the north of England, so a lot of northern actors, like Maxine Peake was a real inspiration to me when I was a child. And my mum's an actress, so she was, you know, I just was in awe of the art form.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Because you just brought up your mom, I'll turn to your family because some of your family has experience in this industry. And I always love asking this particular question about that. Can you tell me something that they taught you or did for you early on that you think put you on the best possible path, but then also tell me about something you could only discover on your own, something that you learned about your particular goals that you would only be able to achieve on your own by exploring this industry and your craft?
Yeah, I mean, so my family are sort of in a very, like the entertainment industry within Manchester and that area. My mum's in a show still that's in Manchester, and my dad wrote for a show that was up north. So it was a very small bubble up there. So I think they taught me. I got to see my mum on set and understand what a set dynamic looked like, and that was so helpful and amazing. And honestly, I think I really just wanted to be a part of the family of a set. That always was like it felt like a real family, and I wanted to just be a part of that. But beyond that, I think, you know, when things started to change a little bit and my career became outside of Manchester, it was definitely something. That's when I started having to learn my own lessons about the industry and Hollywood and the American side of things, because I always kind of was like in my bubble and thought I'll just keep doing like local shows and then my horizons sort of, I got more opportunities from doing that, and then I was sort of felt like, wow, I'm learning a lot of things that my parents never realized. So I'm teaching them things now, which is really cool.
I am so tempted to jump around all the place, but I'm all over the place right now. But I'm going to try to remember some of my follow-up questions and stick to a little bit of a roadmap here. So probably before the Hollywood of it all, can you tell me something that you learned making maybe one of your earliest films or shows that maybe gave you more clarity in terms of what you would value most and the stories you would go on to tell and the on-set environments you would be a part of?
Yeah. I mean, I am so grateful for the way I sort of came up in this industry, because for the best part of a decade, I was doing a lot of television in England, in Manchester. And that didn't really change until I got a show called Younger. And I was a guest role, and I was playing an Irish girl, and I got flown to New York, and that was my first taste of American. Being on an American set, and gosh, was I lucky, because what an amazing set! I mean, Sutton Foster and Hilary Duff. Like, I was like, wow, this is, you know, it was such a dream. And Bridgerton then obviously changed my life, but I felt like I think I was 25 when I got the show. And I felt like I'd had enough experience to tackle being suddenly the lead in a Netflix show, which was such a different... I mean, you learn on the job, you really do. And suddenly being number one on a call sheet of a big Netflix show, it's crazy. It was crazy. And I just tried to learn from all the wonderful actors that I'd worked with that were generous. Like, I think generosity as an actor is an undervalued thing. And I think it's very important to be aware that you're part of a crew of people all trying to make the same thing.
My head is exploding with follow-up questions. I don't care what order I'm going in anymore. I am going to ask this one. Can you tell me something you learned from a past number one on the call sheet that you appreciated, back-pocketed, and implied to your own work as a number one? But then also tell me something that maybe you wish more number ones did, that you made a big part of your own approach to the work when you are the lead in a film or show.
Yeah, oh my God, so many little moments are coming to mind. It's really crazy. I remember being like 15 and working with James Nesbitt on a show called Monroe, and being a day player, I literally came in and had one line, and he was so kind to me, and he knew I was nervous and like ran the scene with me, and then afterwards was like, "You're really great," and like really took the time to say, "You were really great," and it really meant the world. I was like, "Oh, I can do this," and then. Yeah, working with Maxine Peake, I mean, she wrote me a letter. I was like 18, and she just has so much grace and is such a wonderful actress and was so kind. Again, when you're that age, you really feel like you don't know what you're doing. You're like, I'm just here and I've learnt my lines, but I don't know what to do. And who else? Tuppence Middleton. Oh my God. I remember like she was... I did a show called Dickensian, and Tuppence Middleton played Miss Havisham. And I remember I'd rapped and they were shooting a second unit, and I got to like listen to her acting. I couldn't see it. I could just listen. And I was so, like, my mind just blew up because I could hear her acting, and I thought, wow, that is acting. Oh. And like, I want to be like Tuppence Middleton when I grow up. So shout out to Tuppence Middleton.
What a beautiful experience to have. And now for the flip side of it, is there anything that like you wish you had when you were maybe not number one on the call sheet that now you strive to bring to your co-stars and sets in general when you are?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I've definitely worked with. There are actors that exist that I feel like everyone's tiptoeing around them. And that's hard because, again, I really do feel like we all have a job to do. And we're all just trying to make a movie. And it really is a director's medium. And I always want to feel like I'm just in service of the director. And so, yeah, I would say that's the most important thing to remember when you're going onto a set.
The vibe on set when it leans towards filmmaking family just makes me very happy.
Oh,
I know it's not possible on every single set, but I really do think that when you hit the sweet spot in that respect, you could see it radiating off screen in the finished product in the best possible way.
And then everyone does their best work because everyone feels like they have a safe space to try things.
You give so much of your time and energy and life to these characters, to these stories. At the very least, it should be that kind of environment.
Yes.
At least in my mind.
I agree.
I was about to jump to Bridgerton, but I jotted down this question that I did really want to ask you. I'm assuming this is pre-Bridgerton, but I was reading another interview you did where you said, I thought about giving up acting, but I'd get sucked back in quite quickly. Can you give me an example of a time when you thought about quitting and then explain how you wound up getting sucked back in?
Yes. I mean, I have told this story a few times, but when I got younger, I was able to have I had to have a visa. Mm-hmm. So I had this visa and I was like, well, I could work and maybe I'll live in LA for a bit and see what happens. And so I moved to LA and I was living there for close to a year, going on auditions and trying to book something. And I didn't book anything. I made a really great friend, Shireen, who I lived with, and we had a lot of fun. But I just was there trying to get a job, and ironically, I did a self-tape out of LA for Bridgerton, which shot in the UK, and a few months later, I got a call saying, "Will you come and read with Reggae at the Chandran offices in LA?" And I went and read, and I'd booked a flight back home to leave LA. And it's a crazy story. And then I called my parents and I said, so I am still flying back home, but Netflix is flying me back home. So that was a really crazy moment in my life. I love
that you were able to tell it to them that way.
Yeah, I know.
Makes me so happy.
I know.
So touching on the beginnings of Bridgerton now, obviously you booked the role. So, Shonda Rhimes and that whole team, they got a lot of faith in you. But that's a pretty big production. It's a big Netflix show. It's based on hugely popular books. You're going to be one of the leads of the show. That's a really big deal. Do you remember the first thing that happened either in prep or on set that made you stop and go to yourself like, I believe in myself. I could do this.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I was so nervous and terrified and doubting myself. Yeah. So many things, like so many people go into creating a character on something like that because we had a lot of dance rehearsals and that really helped. We had an amazing dance instructor, Sean, who just got us into our bodies and helped us with. But then so many people are springing to mind because reggae also, we were in it together, and Jonathan Bailey and all the actors in the show were so kind, and we were all nervous, and it really felt like the read-through, we were all like, wow, this feels good, but are people gonna, it has modern music, people are gonna think this is a really weird show. We didn't know. So the beauty of that show is that there are so many cast mates, and we were all kind of unknown in our and so it really felt like we were all in it together.
And now look at so many of you.
I know, it's amazing.
It really is incredible. And it's, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, too. Because I've watched so many other people just skyrocket thanks to that show.
I know. I mean, Charithra, I watched her.
She was in here. She was literally just in here. I'm so happy to hear that.
She's amazing. And I'm so proud of her.
So happy for her. She is just so perfectly cast in One Piece. And I loved every single minute of watching her eat up that role in a way that appeased the hardcore One Piece fans, but also made this version of the character feel so uniquely her.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do.
She's amazing at that. She's one of a kind, Charithra. She's so smart and articulate and really blew me away on Bridgerton. It was obvious she was going to go very far.
Oh, you make me want to ask you this question. I'm a big nerd for the variety of acting techniques out there, and I will preface this question by saying I don't necessarily mean a formal technique. It could be literally anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, I'll give you a big two-parter. Can you name a past co-star you worked with where you knew the second you met this person, we're immediately in sync. We have the same approach to the work, but then also give me an example of the opposite, someone with a completely different approach that maybe challenged you to adapt and try something new and for the better.
I feel like every actor I work with has a slightly different approach, and I think that's the beauty of our job. I always say that about directors too. I would work with any kind of director because I really just, again, being just whatever they want to try or do or their way of working, I feel like I'm going to learn a lot from it. So I really am open to working with any kind of actor or director. I think it's so fun. But the first person that honestly comes to mind is Jonathan Bailey because I loved working with him so much, and I feel like we both really do have the same approach to working where we can slip in and out of character quite easily and really have a laugh when we're not shooting, but take the work seriously too. So I love working with him. And then, another person that comes to mind is Alden, Ehrenreich. I feel like I learned so much from working with him, and he's so talented and amazing and was so in the character, not in a way that was method, but in a way that was I just was very in awe of and wanted to emulate. And so I sort of was like, I'm going to do the same thing. And I just think you learn so much from the experiences of working with great different actors that have different approaches.
That's what keeps these conversations so full and exciting is that, every single moment you think you learned enough, there's still so much more growing to do.
Oh my God.
So I've had people come back time and time again, and every single stage of their career, it's a slightly different kind of conversation.
Wow.
And I live for conversations like that. It's awesome. Going back to Bridgerton, I haven't asked this in a little while, but it feels very applicable to your journey. I love talking about the experience of like having a breakout moment in film and television, because I feel like it can be one thing from the outside perspective and it's a totally different situation for the person actually going through the breakout. So I'm going to give you a two-part question about that. Can you tell me a misconception about the reality of breaking out via a popular TV series, but then also tell me a door that was cracked open via Bridgerton that was undeniably from the success of that show?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, my experience was very strange because COVID was happening. So it sort of felt like we were all going through the same thing anyway. So then I kind of felt like everyone was going through what I was going through in a weird way. It's hard to explain. But it was a very strange experience because I wasn't like doing interviews like this with people. I was like very much in the kitchen with my parents, figuring it out. So yeah, it was strange. And I think those breakout moments are so different for everyone. Like everyone has such a different experience. I was surrounded like truly by a lot of people that really were keeping me grounded. So yeah, it was fine. And then there was another question you asked that I wanted to answer.
So that was kind of the misconception part of it, I guess, which is also very heavily defined by the fact that a lot of this happened, like virtually and in pandemic times for you. The other half was a door that you actually noticed being cracked open for you because of the success of Bridgerton.
I think just the opportunities that it gave me as an actor. I mean, all I've ever wanted to do was to work, like really truly just wanted to get my head down and be working and have opportunities to do different things and yeah, as soon as Bridgerton came out, I did a lovely film called The Colour Room where I played a potter and suddenly I realized that I had these opportunities to play lots of different women and it's all I'd ever wanted in my career and it was happening and I'm so grateful to be able to have played so many characters.
You have so much variety. As I was looking back over the things that you've done since, I'm like, wow, like each film feels entirely different. It's a completely different person. And I mean, isn't that the most fulfilling part of the craft you pursue?
Truly, yeah.
To start to teeter into some of that, I'll touch on the edge of Bridgerton and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but you decided to leave the show, right?
No,
it was like where they wound down the character arc and then you moved on.
I think from what I know, I don't think anyone really knew how they were pinned. Like when the first season came out, they didn't know what they needed to put in place. So we were like the ones that got away, I think, in a certain way. But like I can only speak for myself. I would always come back if I was asked. I
feel like you're asked time and time again too, or at least from the press and the fan perspective.
Yes, the fans. And I just want to say I have not received a call, and when I get that call, I will be there.
And everyone's going to be thrilled if you get the call and jump back in. So your time on that show starts to come to an end. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the goals that you had while that was winding down and how that compared to what actually happened when Bridgerton was in the rearview mirror and you started to pursue other opportunities?
Yeah, I feel like the real turning point for me in my career was doing Fair Play. It really it allowed me to know what I could do. And it was a really special, incredibly creatively fulfilling job for me. And I think it kind of ruined things because I was like, this is the dream. And this is the project I want to, this is the kind of project I want to be doing all the time. And of course, that it's very rare to have an experience like that. I mean, Chloe Dumont, amazing, amazing director who's going to have this incredible career. And I just feel very lucky that I got to work with her on her first movie, her first film. And yeah, I just think I got really lucky with that film.
It's
and
an excellent movie.
Yeah, thank you. And now I'm just endlessly searching for more of that feeling.
I'm going to dig back into the search in a quick moment, but there's one other question I had jotted down about Fair Play specifically, because you were BAFTA nominated for that, the Rising Star Award, which is a big deal. And I'm always curious about the behind the scenes of that kind of experience. Like, what happens when your name is announced as a rising star at that point in your career? Again, like, do you see suddenly new doors crack open that weren't available to you before?
It didn't feel like that at the time. God, now I'm like trying to go back to that time in my life. But yeah, it was such a nice, like, being recognized, especially by people in the UK, like my hometown and my peers over there. It just felt it was very heartwarming. It was a real lovely moment. And I got to bring my mum to the awards, and it felt like such a big moment for me. And yeah, it was definitely like a nice kind of sort of, you can do this, keep going. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to be nominated.
The Rising Star Award is always one of the ones that I'm most eager to keep an eye on, just because I feel like it's so, you had accomplished a bit before you even did that movie, but it's just so cool watching someone recognized in that way for one of their first big projects, and then to be able to go and see what they do next and how they make the most of it. I don't know. I love seeing the start of someone's journey and then watching them skyrocket.
It's really cool. And now I'm like, obviously all the girls and guy, I'm trying to think of, the guy, I think Jacob Elordi was nominated too, but he wasn't there. But seeing how their careers are flourishing is so cool. It was a special one.
This is a wonderful thing. Before I get to Thrash, I did have to squeeze in a couple of questions about those upcoming projects, one of which you mentioned, it's Remain. That's a fascinating one to me, and that one you have completed filming on, right?
Yes.
I'll ask this to start here because I feel like anybody who hears that Nicholas Sparks collaborated with M. Night Shyamalan is going to be like, huh? Like what a bizarre pairing there. So can you tell me a little bit about maybe how that movie, which is also a book, is going to deliver what Nicholas Sparks fans know and love from his work, but also M. Night Shyamalan fans more of what they know and love of his work? I mean, I guess while also making their quintessential styles of storytelling a little different and refreshing here.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's my two favorite genres blended into one. So when I got the email and I saw that they were both, involved in the same film, it was mind-blowing and extremely exciting. And I really, really think the fans of Nicholas and the Sparks and the fans of M. Night Shyamalan will be so thrilled because there's so much of both the genres in there. I mean, at the heart, it is a love story, but there's so many of those like amazing M. Night twists and turns and horror, and I think all the fans of both will be hopefully very excited and enjoy it.
I'm quite pumped, and you get to work with some of the best. I mean, you brought up Jake Gyllenhaal before. I mean, dude's an industry legend. I have to imagine you go into a production like that with certain expectations of him. So how did he either meet the expectations you had, if not exceed them? Yeah,
I mean, between him and M. Night, there were so many moments where I was pinching myself. I was like, I can't believe I'm in a room with these two. And we're just talking about the scene that we're going to do. It's just like so surreal. And I learned so much from working with them both. They're both, icons in cinema. I remember meeting Jake over Zoom for the first time, and he was still doing Othello on Broadway. And he had the shaved head and sort of the like dead eyes. And as soon as we started reading the screen, there was like this different it's incredible what he does. And I really think I learned a lot from both of them.
I can't wait to see.
It's very,
I have to ask about one other person because you have an Academy Award nominated cinematographer on that film. I'm really happy for Adolfo.
Adolfo
really
is amazing.
Great stuff. I mean, this is kind of somewhat similar to what I asked about M. Night and Nicholas Sparks. But, I think about his work and I think obviously specifically Train Dreams because that's what he was nominated for. But even if I go back to Clint Bentley's other movie, Jockey, it's just got like this texture and this grounded feeling to it. Whereas M. Night and Nicholas Sparks adaptations have like a somewhat different style. So are you able to speak at all to why his eye felt so best suited to this combined work from them?
Oh my gosh, Adolfo is amazing. I mean, we shot on, what did we shoot on? These very old cameras, classic cameras, which I'm forgetting the name now. But so we shot on film, essentially. But it was a specific kind of film that I'm forgetting. And so the look of and shooting on film is so interesting because you're hearing the whirring of the camera during the takes. And so a lot of that, I never got a sense of what it looked like because you can't watch anything back or see anything. But it was, I think there's something about the way Adolfo shoots that is, and this might sound obvious, but so cinematic. And I mean, M. Night and Nicholas Sparks, they are like cinematic icons. So Adolfo just really was able to kind of bring the script to life in a really magical way. So many of the shots, simple shots, just look so beautiful. So he was the perfect person.
I love it. I love the idea of like three unique minds, or at least how I file them away, like coming together for one project. That sounds awesome. You had one other thing that was announced very, very recently. I feel like it was like maybe even this week or last week. Beach Read.
Beach Read,
I'll ask you a big, broad question about that one. And also this will kind of lean into maybe how you've been picking projects since Bridgerton. But what is something about that role and that story that made you say to yourself, like, I would really have something to gain from this project as an actor who's always looking to challenge myself in new ways and evolve my craft?
Yeah, there's so many reasons why I'm very excited about this project. Yulene, who wrote the script, adapted the script and is directing, she's amazing. Her knowledge of cinema and of romance is so impressive. I mean, she can name all the romance films that came out in the it's like her knowledge of that genre is so impressive. And Emily Henry is obviously huge in the book world. But this book in particular, Beach Read, the characters are so well developed. They have such rich backstories. So it's always fun to firstly, it's always fun to go back into the romance world. It's been a while since I've been able to do that. Well, since Bridgerton, really. So it felt like all the pieces were in place to make like a really beautiful romance film for that hopefully everyone will see, and the people that love the book will enjoy, and also will get a new audience.
Do you know who is starring opposite you yet?
Not yet.
Oh boy.
But maybe by the time this comes out, we'll know.
That's so exciting. Wait, just so I can kind of put this like in a little time capsule because you don't know yet. Like, what is it like being cast in a role like this and waiting for your Gus?
Crazy. It's crazy because also I'm seeing all the the fans and who they'd like, and often I'm like, he'd be great. Is he available?
I'm not going to ask you to name names. I'll at least stop there, but I'm very excited for both of those projects. I'm also excited to dig into Thrash now.
Yeah.
I will take a disaster film and a shark film any day, so watching them mashed up into one thing, it is a lot. I have so much to touch on here. I'll give you a big two-part question to start. When an opportunity like this comes your way, what single thing about it are you most looking forward to getting to do? But then can you also tell me something about making the movie that wound up being more creatively fulfilling than you ever could have imagined?
Oh, wow. I was really looking forward to doing something action-packed. Like, I'd never really had that opportunity before. As I said before, I loved shark movies growing up. It was like a family thing that we used to watch. And so it was very fun to get an opportunity to play in one, particularly in this like Adam McKay's being involved and Tommy Wirkola directing. I mean, I love his films, and it just felt very exciting to me. I will say, like, shooting in like 3 wetsuits and a belly in the middle of winter.
I had a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, it was challenging. It was a real challenge. Physically, the most definitely challenging
You
thing
were
I've
literally drenched this entire movie.
Yeah, and drowning.
And that too.
And giving birth.
And we're going to get to that. But as someone who is like always cold and uncomfortable if she's like wet or in the rain. Like my friends make fun of me. They're like, you're not going to melt if you get rained on. But I watch what you have to do in this movie. I'm like, that is probably my worst nightmare.
Yeah, it was mine, kind of. It was like one of those things where in my mind I was like, I would never work in water. I mean, I've shot rain scenes and they've been like, they're difficult, But yeah, being in a full body of water and I mean, I'm like trying to think of all the scenes where something awful happens to my character too. There's like it's
literally just one thing after the next.
Yeah. But it was a fun challenge.
Can you paint a picture of what that set looked like? Is it essentially, this area of the town built in a tank?
Yes.
Okay.
They built it was all built, the whole town, into a giant kind of pool. Swimming pool, but a giant one. And then, I mean, the behind the scenes photos are kind of hilarious because all the crew are also in full wetsuits and in there with us. So it was, we were all in it together.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the actors suffering.
Family vibes.
Yeah.
What is something you saw happen on this set? I feel like there's going to be so many answers to this question that made you stop and go, I cannot believe that is what it takes to make it look like that on screen in the finished product.
Yes. I mean, seeing the last set up or the penultimate setup when my character is in bed.
Oh.
And how they did that was amazing because we were in a studio, again, giant swimming pool, and they would just they built this room on top of the swimming pool. So then the whole crew would just get slowly dunked into the pool.
I love movie magic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is incredible.
I know. Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you would pass on to another actor about to do their first water-heavy movie?
Don't do it. Just don't do it.
I literally just called this experience like what would wind up being my worst nightmare, so I cannot judge that answer whatsoever.
Yeah. I made incredible friends with a hot hose for this movie because the water couldn't be heated because it was so cold that the steam would come off the top of the water. So Whitney and I had a hot hose that we shared, and we'd just put it down our wetsuits between takes.
Other than the hot hose, did you have an on-set vice on this production? Something you would turn to, like a food, a drink, or an activity to help you power through the tougher days?
Yes. A lot of yummy hot food and hot drinks.
Okay.
And the hot hose.
And the hot hose.
Yeah.
I said it, an appropriate theme happening here.
Yes.
That is something else. I also did want to, before I dig into spoilers to full force, I did want to ask you a little bit about your conversations with Tommy regarding the tone of the movie, because I was telling you a little bit about, how I've thought about his work before we even started rolling. Dead Snow set a certain expectation. Like, this is a dude who's going to swing for the fences and go to the extreme with every film he makes. But there's also a little bit of a grounded quality to your movie where I need to understand where they're coming from and feel for them in order to keep rooting for them. So how did you kind of meld the two but still play into the wild fun of this film as well?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a discussion from the beginning. I always said to Tommy and our wonderful producer Kevin Messick, I know how I'd like to play this, but I'm not sure. She's gonna be going through it, and I'm gonna play. I mean, you can never play into comedy, right? Ever, really. But the hope was that the circumstances are so crazy and ridiculous that is the fun of the movie. And but for me, I was just like, this is a pretty intense thing to go through, you know. It's, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, let's just put it that way, of women giving birth. And that was like the first thing that I was like, how do women do this? It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. I will be the outsider looking in with that amazing aspect of life. And I have my sister who has given me a niece and two nephews. And I'm like, you are a goddess. How do you do this?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Incredible. Thankfully, she's gone through nothing akin to what your character does in this movie. This is the point when I'm going to lift the spoiler warning because I want to get to the end of the movie. If you have not seen Thrash, go watch it on Netflix. And then after you watch the movie, push play and the conversation will begin again right here. All right. So that ending. Let's talk about the birth first. Can you tell me a little bit about your conversations with Tommy about how you would actually film that? Is what we see in the finished film, was that always like plan A, or was there any kind of workshopping in terms of, like, I guess what we would see and how that would all pan out?
Yeah. There were a few different shots of the final kind of push, I guess.
What was the variety?
Variety? There was a lot of variety. Yeah, there was a lot. Because it had to be a big epic moment. And also you had to realize that she wasn't through it. You know, she pushed her baby out, but she still has to fight some effing sharks. So,
yes, she does. I'm going to ask about that line too.
Yeah, great line. So there was, I mean, I'm trying to, some of it was so, you kind of put it out of your memory because it was such a weird, acting is so bizarre. But it was always just like, just give it your all. And that scream has to be a really big one.
I'm going to ask you a big, broad question based on what you just said. Can you tell me, over the course of your career, what single thing did you do on a set that made you stop and go like, my God, this job is so weird? And how does that compare to like the most extreme thing you did on this particular set?
There's so many things. A lot of them are in films that haven't come out yet.
Hey.
So
that makes me really excited for the future.
But yeah, if we're talking about Thrash, that whole movie was like, this is crazy.
It is.
And, you know, when you are trying to save a doll from getting eaten by two men with tennis balls, it's very surreal.
What is the baby, or what is the variety of baby you had to work with on this set?
It was a mechanical baby. So it was moving.
Like every ounce of it was a mechanical baby.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. No real babies were involved.
Okay. I feel like,
movie.
yeah, this should be a baby-free set. And then the sharks were literally just like human beings with tennis balls swimming around for your eye line.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it was great. It was great and hilarious. We did have a shark fin. We had a guy holding a shark fin. I think there was two guys, actually. They were like running through the water and pushing.
Now I have to go and look through all the credits because I just want to know what they were credited as.
I know.
I love stuff like that.
It was a hard job to get that right.
It's a hard job to get literally every aspect of this production right. Because like it's one of those things where if everything isn't like perfectly aligned, everything about this could very easily teeter into like totally ridiculous where you can't even lose yourself in the story and have fun with it.
It's very true. It's a fine line.
Ooh, very much so. And there's also a very fine line you have to walk with this line. So... This is amazing. This is just amazing. You give birth, and literally one of the first things you do after giving birth is you say, Mommy's here. Mommy just has to fight some fucking sharks. How many times did you do that line? How much variation was there? How do you nail something like that?
How do you nail it? I mean, yeah, it's definitely one that you just have to give 110% to and hope for the best.
That is such like an appropriate line and delivery for a Tommy movie too.
I know.
Like, that's probably like one of the pinnacles in that respect for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of good lines like that in the movie. Some of which probably didn't land as well and haven't made it into the movie. But that one, I was happy.
I feel like that one's so good. I might have just blocked out some of the others. I feel like Stacey gets one or two.
Yes.
that got me good in that respect. That of course I did not write down.
Yeah.
I'm so excited
that is a good one.
I'm so excited for him too. I saw him for the first time in a movie at Sundance called Leviticus, and he's incredible in it.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden this popped up, and I'm like, this is what happens. I see you in one thing, and then I follow you to every single thing you do next.
I love that. No, he's so talented.
Have you seen the full movie? Like, was their storyline shocking to you because you have literally nothing to do with them?
Yeah. Yeah. And also how you talk tonally, it was interesting because me and Whitney are in a completely like different, I mean, we never cross paths. So, yeah, it was really cool to see. Those kids are amazing.
Yeah.
And really fun.
They were
like,
good
their
together.
Story's fun.
I feel like it's always a wow-worthy acting feat when I only spend a short amount of time with people who are meant to be a family, and I believe it. The three of them just had like the right pace, the right vibe with each other.
They do look like siblings, yeah.
We have hit the final question of Collider Ladies Night. Every single interview we do here ends with this particular question. In film and television, we give each other awards. I think that is wonderful, but I find that not enough people in this business stop to tell themselves good job as much as they should. I want to know something you accomplished making this movie that you know you're always going to look back on and say, you know what, I'm real damn proud of what I did there.
Oh, that's lovely. I think just making it through a cold day and staying positive and trying to enjoy it. And also just acknowledging the team effort and that we're all in this together and that it's very nice. And everyone's working really hard in crazy conditions. And we're going to make a fun movie for people to watch and to enjoy and to be able to switch off. So I'm proud of everyone on that.
So essential with any production, but especially an ambitious production like this. I must say, congrats on everything you've accomplished on Thrash and everything coming your way in the future. I can't wait to talk about the next ones. Come back.
I'd love to. Thank you so much.